That is a menhaden head. Trying frozen menhaden starts off this morning instead of the frozen cigs, although I do have a couple pounds of those too. Let's see how the menhaden does. Super oily fish. Skin's, oh, there's my alarm. Time to wake up, James. The skin's a little bit tougher than those cigs, so we'll see if that stays on the hook better. Oh, god damn. Come on. All right, lighter line, boys. That was instant. Oh, come on. Oh, you. Oh, that was a good one, too. Damn. What did he do, reef it? Man, he just pulled the hook? Really? He didn't even bust it off. That's crazy. All right. First bite of the night there, though. That was on a menhaden tail section. Let's try that again. Made the switch over to lighter line. Got smoked immediately. Here we go. Get Nate. Get Nate. Eat it up all the way. I think there's a ton of mangroves down there is what it feels like.
Dropped a little chicken rig down with a couple pieces of wood on them.
Here we go. Come on. This is a mangrove, I'm pretty sure. Feels like it. Pretty sure this is a mango. Come on up here. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's a red grouper. Not a keeper. Finally broke the skunk, though. Look at that. Now, I do not think this one is going to keep, but let me put him on the board just to verify. I don't think he's going to make it. I think he's about 19. Indeed. 19 on the money. Nice little red grouper there, not the target species. We would keep him because they are delicious, but he has to be 20 and he's only about 19 inches, so he's going to go back. Let's try that again. Give the remora his sacrifice. Use a little bit smaller piece of bait. We're getting like lots of little short strikes, which I'm thinking are probably mangrove snappers, what they feel like. They're really good at eating right around a hook. Just came across another reef here that's loaded up with bait. I do see a couple larger marks that look like they could be something decent. Let's find out. There's fish. Oh, oh, decent fish. Oh, son of a man. Not doing well this morning. Back down we go. And beautiful first light coming up over the horizon, and we have yet to put a fish in the cooler. See if we can get on something here. Had a couple good hookups. I've lost 2 now. The only thing that we've caught is that red grouper at this point. Here's one. No, no, no. Oh my gosh. Good fish here. Come on. I'm only on 40, so I'm trying to not go crazy on him, but gotta at least get him up out of that structure. That was weird, he just swam up. What is this gonna be? Kind of feels like a grouper, maybe? No, it's not a grouper. It's definitely some form of snapper, I do believe. But what form is it? Oh, it's the nice one. It's a nice one. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Come out. Come here. Come here. That's a nice one. Really nice one, guys. Get in there. Got him. Hell yeah, that's a good red right there on the lighter setup too. Whoo! I'm surprised I got him out of the structure. He took a couple good dives there. Let's go, guys. First red snapper of the morning, and it's a nice one. As Arby's would say, we've got the meats.
Arby's suck.
It depends what Arby's you go to.
Whoa, whoa.
No, sir. Hold on. Let me tell you something, pal. I went to an Arby's in northern Alabama that had venison, and it was real venison, and it was delicious. Enough about that, though. Nice red snapper right there. That's actually one of the bigger ones that I've caught in a long time, and we got him on the lighter rig on a 40-pound leader. Had to size down because the 80-pound just wasn't getting bit. This is a really good snapper, dude. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this line. I need to retie my leader anyway because it was getting a little bit short there, and I imagine it's pretty frayed up after this fish. I'm gonna take my shears, come up in here, and give the gills a clip on both sides. All right, there we go. Heck yeah, guys. Really nice American red snapper there. First one of those that we've caught tonight. That is the target species. That's a really good one too, man. I'm shocked that I was able to get that one up out of the reefs on 40-pound. Took a couple good runs, and I thought that I was gonna be screwed, but had to make the switch over to 40 in order to start getting bites. The 80-pound, it seems like they're just being super skittish. There's not a lot of current out here right now. It's glass calm. So if you guys aren't getting bites on the heavier gear, try sizing down. It sucks because you're gonna break off. Sometimes you get lucky and get a really nice one like that. That's a good fish. I do want to get just a real quick measure on this guy, just for fun. 27. Nice. So, as I'm sure you can guess by how fast I'm editing through the morning here, the bite was ridiculously slow this day, and that snapper was actually the last decent fish that I caught all morning. So, after fishing a little while longer, we decided to call it pretty early and head back in towards the beach to enjoy this beautiful summer morning a little bit differently. Alright guys, just got back home and finished getting my gear all cleaned up. And you know, this is like the behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't typically see in these videos. If I'm being honest with you, this right here, the cleanup process, is the worst part of offshore kayak fishing. After being out there all day in the blazing sun and getting home just exhausted, still having to clean this stuff up does kind of suck, but at least it was worth it. We got out of there with one 27-inch snapper today. That's the only good fish that I caught that I was able to put in the box, but at least it was a solid one. That's actually the biggest snapper that I've caught in a while. We've been getting a lot of smaller size ones out there, so I'll take 27 inches all day long. That's a good fish. I was really hoping that the bite would be better, but between all the conditions that we had with it being slick flat, literally no current whatsoever, like we were not drifting at all, and it being one of the hottest days of the year so far, it's not really too surprising that the fish weren't biting. You really got to have some kind of current, some kind of moving water to get those fish fired up, get the bait all stirred up and all that fun stuff. And yeah, it just wasn't those conditions today. While it's beautiful being out there in the kayak, the fishing just isn't great when it's, you know, slick, calm conditions like that. I think the heat index today was like 102 or something like that. Like, it was brutal. So by 8 o'clock, we were out there cooking, and we could tell that the bite was gonna suck. So we ended up going back into the sandbars. We actually spent like 3 hours on the sandbars. Most of that time though, we were actually in the water swimming because it was so hot outside. So the camera kept coming on and off. I don't know how much of the footage I actually got or how much I'm gonna use in this video. We did actually end up getting into a couple of nice Spanish mackerel here. There was a couple big schools of them on the sandbar, so I got a few of those that I'll probably cut up and use as some bait. Those make excellent cut bait. And something else really cool too, actually, I hope I got the footage of it, is right now there are tons of cigar minnows pushed up, like literally right onto the sand. I think they followed all the June grass in, and there was a huge school of bonitas that were right up on those cigar minnows, like 100 feet from the beach. So we ended up getting into some of those too, which was really cool. You know, we get those like out over the reefs all the time, but getting them right on the beach is something you don't typically get to do. So that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna kind of sprinkle in some of that filler footage of us swimming out there having a good time, because it was a lot of fun. But one thing that I want to do here for you guys, because I know a lot of you that follow me are a little bit newer to offshore kayak fishing, is I'm gonna get that snapper out, get them on the fillet table here, and I'm gonna show you guys how to clean a red snapper. Now for these snapper, I typically like to have two separate fillet knives, one with a little bit of flex to it, a little bit shorter of a blade. This particular one's a 7-inch, and this is the one that I'll use for my finer cuts, trimming, things like that, once the fillet is actually off the fish. For getting that fillet off the fish though, I like to have something like this, a little bit stiffer, a little bit larger of a blade, and this is going to be perfect for cutting through all these thick scales, cutting through the pin bones, and really just separating this large fillet from the skeleton of the fish. So the first cut that we're going to make is we're going to lift up that fin right there, and we're going to dig up underneath these scales, and we're going to cut about 45 degrees forward, follow the gill plate all the way around, and follow the head up to the top there, and then come in and cut straight off through the bottom of the belly. Now next thing that we're going to do here is take just the tip of your knife, and you want to point it almost towards the back of the fish like that. And you're going to rest it right on top of the bone structure that forms these bones that run all the way down the back of the fish there, and just follow that structure all the way down. And you'll see that by pointing that knife towards the back of the fish, it allows you to just glide outwards from the inside of the skin rather than having to cut through all these scales right here. We get down to the tail, we're going to punch all the way through, hands straight off. The next thing I want to do here is I get a good firm grip on this somewhere up here around the gill plate, and I'll take my thumb and just kind of start separating that cut that we made somewhere up here towards the head. Now what we're going to do is you want to run your blade almost parallel, like lengthwise with the fish, and lay it right on top of that bone structure there. And you're going to follow that bone structure all the way down towards the spine of your fish, which is going to run right down the center from head to tail. So just kind of go slow with this. You want to have some flex in your blade to make sure it stays down on top of that bone structure. You don't want to float it up because you're going to be losing meat. So just come in right here. I like to peel this fillet back so I can see what I'm doing, and start right up here behind the gill plate, and you want to angle your blade up just a little bit and make one sharp cut right there, and you're going to hear and feel those pin bones separate. Once you feel those pin bones separate, you can start just carving down the ribs. You can see those right here. And one thing I like to do here too is I will just come in right over the top of the spine and cut all the way down the back of the fish just to start separating that tail, and it makes this just a little bit easier. And then you can just start peeling that fillet right down the ribs and off the back of the fish, just like that. Get a nice firm grip on that tail and get that knife down to the skin there. And luckily these snapper have really tough skin that's really tough to cut through, so you can just grab that tail, keep that knife angled towards the table, and just work it all the way off the front. All right, now we got the skin off. That's where the second blade will come into play, and this one's got a lot more flex to it. It's a little bit smaller, so I'll just come in and start taking off all of these little trimmings off the outside of the fish. A lot of times where the fins connect, you'll have these little membranes here. I don't really want that stuff, so I'm just going to kind of come in, separate those. And then the last thing that we got to do here is we're going to take out this line of pin bones. So you're going to make a cut almost like a V right along the top of that bloodline right there, and those pin bones are going to go maybe 2/3 of the way back down the fish. Make one underneath it, and then pull that entire section out, and that's going to remove that bloodline. That'll taste a little bit more fishy than the rest of it, and also that's going to get rid of your pin bones. And that is a totally boneless red snapper fillet there. All right, guys, back in the kitchen, and we're about to turn that piece of red snapper into one of my favorite meals, which is a fish po' boy. So I've got all of our toppings prepped over here. What I'm actually gonna do, because this is a pretty thick piece of snapper, is I'm gonna kind of butterfly this open and just take it in half here. And we will just slice that right in half, just like that. So now we've got a little bit of a thinner piece, so it won't be too much. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some blackened seasoning. I'm gonna mix some of this into this fish fry, but what I also like to do is just sprinkle a little bit of it on the fish itself too. I feel like it gets spread a little bit more evenly doing it this way. And I'm gonna sprinkle some of this blackened seasoning into the fish fry. And that's not only gonna give it flavor, it's also gonna help it get nice and crispy when we put it on this hot cast iron skillet. Kind of sift it out. Now I don't do any egg wash or anything for this, because like I said, I don't want this to be like fried, just like completely coated in this stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of press it in there, sift a little bit more of it out so it's nice and level, flip it over, and just press this other side in. And that way it just has almost like a dusting on it. You can see that it's not like completely coated as if we were like just totally frying this fish, but it'll have a nice little dusting of it on there just to give it a little bit of crunch and a little bit of flavor. That's perfect. All right, now I've got a preheated cast iron skillet over here. I love using cast iron for fish, and I'm gonna put a ton of oil on that. We're gonna soak some of that up. But I want a generous amount of oil. That way that fish fry gets nice and crispy on there. And the other reason that I use a ton of oil is because I'm gonna follow that up with some butter, and your butter will burn if you don't have it mixed with oil, or if you have your heat too high. So let's get a nice generous amount of butter in that pan. And you guys can see there that that butter has kind of settled. It's not burning, and that's exactly what you want. So we can take our piece of fish, and I'm gonna give it a good rub through that butter, flip it over, and rub it in to the butter, just like that. I've got a couple freezer hush puppies in there, and actually guys, I gotta say, let me see if I can find them here. So these right here, they're Savannah Classics Original Hush Puppies. You get these in the freezer section at Publix, and they're actually pretty good. I'm gonna take my bun, put this in here just to get a little bit of toast on it while that fish is doing its thing. This fish has been on for about 2 minutes here. So I'm gonna come in, give that a nice flip, and you can see that nice crispy golden brown on the outside. That's exactly what we were looking for. All right, nice crispy red snapper fillet there. Straight to the sandwich. Seed a sandwich, a couple hours apart. Does not get any fresher than that unless it was still swimming around. But this is about as fresh as it's gonna get right here. All right, put a little bit of Louisiana hot sauce on there. Now this is something that like I haven't seen anyone else do, but I love doing this. Guys, I'm telling you, feta cheese on fish sandwiches is actually amazing. And this one here you can get at Publix. It's garlic and herb made by Athenos. This stuff is really good on fish sandwiches. Shove some pickles in there, get some tomatoes on top there, top it off with a little bit of lettuce. Couple freezer hush puppies, and that is it, guys. Beautiful red snapper po' boy. Let's give this a taste and see how it is. This is one of my favorite meals. I love making these, especially with red snapper. So freaking good, guys. Like by far, like po' boys are within my top 3 favorite things to do with fish. And you guys saw how easy it is too. Like 10 minutes, throw it on the cast iron, whip up some ingredients while the fish is cooking. It's like really that easy. So if you guys are looking for like a quick, easy recipe, it works with pretty much like any white flaky fish. And you can do po' boys with like shrimp or crawfish or oysters, like pretty much like any kind of seafood you can put on a po' boy. With the fish fillets, it's really easy if you do it the way I showed you guys. With the fish fry, they get nice and crispy, and then you can just scoop the entire fillet right into your bun, top it, and it's ready to go, like 10-15 minutes. So yeah, if you guys haven't done the fish po' boy thing, give it a try. It's one of my favorites. It's delicious. Alrighty guys, and I think that we're gonna call that video right there. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys enjoyed this. I know that the fishing was a little bit slower than it has been in some of my previous videos. It was a tough bite out there today, but I figured, hey, We're out here swimming in this beautiful area that we live in here on the Emerald Coast, and I've got this fish in the cooler, so I figured I'd fluff the video up a little bit by throwing in some of that fishing footage and doing a little catch and cook for you guys. Let me know if you enjoyed that. I've seen kind of like mixed reviews back and forth from some of you guys, whether you like videos with a lot of extra fluff or if you don't. So tell me what you think down below. If you like the video, hit the like button. It helps YouTube recommend these videos out to a wider audience. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. That way you don't miss out on future videos. All the gear that I use will be linked down below in the description, as well as my exclusive discount code for Southern Salt Bait Company. Save yourself 10% by using CKW10. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.